Hi, I'm Dan Roberts. I work behind the scenes here at 95.7, the greatest hits of all time. Sometimes hard to explain what I do, but pretty much anything you hear on the air that isn't music or the DJ is something that I produced in my studio. And one item that I had great fun producing recently was the Morgan Freeman bit that you may have heard on the Bob Rivers Show.
It's a sad thing when you have to say goodbye to old friends. On September 30th, that's just what Seattle did when the Bob Rivers Show left the air. Suddenly, commuters were lost, like a group of penguins waddling around without their tuxedos, in search of a purpose, in search of a patch of ice to call home, in search of a metaphor that made sense. Meanwhile, Bob, Spike, and Joe were at home, pretending to be on the radio, talking to anyone who would listen, driving their families crazy. Clearly, the listeners and the Bob Rivers Morning Show needed each other, like a candle needs wax, like a sandwich needs bread, like a good cup of coffee needs a naked mermaid on the cup. Well, penguins, rejoice. The Naked Mermaid is back, 5 to 10 every weekday. We are proud to bring you Bob Rivers in the Morning and the greatest hits of all time, all day, on 95.7.
Now, that wasn't actually Morgan Freeman, and we never said that it was. So today I wanted to actually shine a spotlight on the guy that did voice that. Larry Davis is the name of the voice actor, and he is an amazing talent, as you will find out during our interview.
Hey, Dan.
When did you first learn that you could do Morgan Freeman?
I moved out to Los Angeles, and I'm hanging out with a buddy of mine watching The Shawshank Redemption. And I start doing, the Morgan Freeman thing just to make people laugh, because I always did it at parties, and I always did it around people just to kind of get a laugh out of them. And he goes, why don't you put that on your voiceover demo? And I thought, yeah, why don't I? I'd never thought to put that particular sound on my voiceover demo. And the minute that I did it, within days of doing it, I started getting people interested in that voice, and that style of voice, and that storyteller-type voice, and it really opened up a big new world for my voiceover career.
Well, that's fantastic. Where were you at before Los Angeles?
I lived in Houston, and I've lived all over the country. I was a radio guy, and then I found out that things were going better for me in the voiceover world than they were in radio.
So this is your day job at this point?
Yeah, it's been my day job for over 5 years now. I do nothing but voiceover all day, every day. I have my own studio. I can connect with anybody all over the world. I work for clients like Jimmy Kimmel, McDonald's, Yahoo, NASCAR, Fox Sports, Comedy Central. I have a long list. I don't want to bore you, but I love it, man. I'm like the luckiest guy I've ever met. Well, I haven't met.
Well, that's good.
I'm the luckiest guy I know.
That's good when you're that guy, Every radio station has a station voice, and it's what you hear between the records when it's not the DJ talking. Can you kind of go through your repertoire?
I'll just go for it. Here we go. All your favorites all day long while you're working. The new Mix 100. That'd be kind of like a what they call an adult contemporary read, maybe, or something like that. I also do kind of rock and roll. Your favorite rock and roll, all on one station. Classic Rock 100.
I about flew out of my shoes, man. That is what's so amazing. It sounds like there's 7 different people living inside you, Larry.
It just depends on what the boss of the radio station wants you to do. That's the way that works.
But most of those most guys like you don't have that many voices in them. The guys that are just strictly doing stations, you've got a real talent.
You know what it is? I feel like I'm really lucky because, let me tell you, I have a lot of respect for those people. For whatever reason, I'm able to do more than just one, and, I'm very thankful for that. The voiceover community, by the way, is like the coolest group of people on the planet. Everybody's so supportive. There's not a whole lot of jealousy. It's very competitive, but there's not a lot of jealousy. If you do something well, then everybody applauds you and respects you and tells everybody about you. It's not like other businesses where it's real cutthroat and people hate you.
Right.
In the voiceover business, you get a lot of friends quick, and I love that.
Yeah, it is great. Anybody's success is kind of inspiring to the rest of us. So.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you've been requested to do as one of your voices? What's the weirdest request you've gotten for Morgan Freeman or whoever?
I don't know if it's a weird request, but I'll tell a quick story. Do you have time for a quick story here?
Oh yeah.
I'm doing a session in Houston, Texas, years and years ago, and I won't say the name of the company, but it was a home builder company. And the premise of the spot was, remember when Jerry Maguire, the movie Jerry Maguire, was popular, and the catchphrase "Show me the money"? Yeah. Well, a lot of African-American talent had tried out for the role that they wanted. They wanted someone who sounded kind of stereotypically African-American. And I guess a lot of the talent that tried out for it didn't really do what they wanted for whatever reason. But I always had kind of done that sort of a sound, and people knew it. So they called me in as the last guy, got the job. In the session, I'll never forget, I'm doing the thing. I'm like, yeah, your homes are so great. Yeah, I love your homes. Give me Crown Molding. Give me more. I want a great fireplace. Jerry, you got to show me the features. That was the whole premise of the spot. And the guy hit the button, the talkback button, where I could hear him in my headphones, and he said, "Hey, Larry, is there any way you could be a little less black?" And I'm a white guy. Could I be less black? I just thought that was so funny. As far as anything weird that I've ever been requested to do, I can't really think of anything. Whatever the work calls for, I do it. If they want it to be relaxed, it's relaxed. If they want that storyteller that we were doing earlier, the Morgan storyteller, I'll give them that. In other words, my goal is to make sure that the client is 100% happy.
Right.
No matter what job I do, I give my best, whether I'm making $100 or $10,000.
Is Morgan Freeman aware of you?
I don't know. If he is, I hope he's not mad. I would never, ever in a million years ever represent myself as Morgan Freeman, nor have I or will I. But I will read a story, and if you think it happens to sound like Morgan Freeman to your ears, well...
And the piece that I wrote for you, we didn't say it was Morgan Freeman. People just assumed it was. And I tried deliberately to make it just absurd so people might catch on, yeah, this is a spoof, you know? So,
yeah. Like I said, I'll do that all day, but I'll never, ever do anything to where I'm encroaching on Mr. Freeman's
his
property.
DNA?
I would never represent myself as him. Absolutely not.
Well, excellent, Larry. I appreciate your time. So if you're listening to this and you're in a position where you're an advertiser or something and you'd like to hire Larry to do voice work for you, where can they contact you, Larry?
They can go to my website. It's real easy to remember. My name's Larry Davis, D-A-V-I-S, so LarryDavisVoice.com.
Good enough.
Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Larry. I appreciate it, too.